Heavy rainfall that has hampered cleanup and led to flooding in central Oklahoma has also provided welcome moisture to Oklahoma's drought-stricken lands. I spoke with state climatologist Dr. Renee McPherson about the recent rain and how it's putting a dent in the drought. Dr. McPherson, about how much rain has the state seen in the last couple of weeks?
So the last few weeks, it really depends on the part of the state that you're in. We have had a foot to just a few inches of rain, depending on where you are. And so it's greatly affected how the drought conditions have either improved or not improved at all statewide.
How has it affected the drought conditions?
So in central Oklahoma, in eastern Oklahoma, our drought has improved considerably over the last several months with 1.5 feet of rain in some of the parts of those areas. Our drought has just been virtually wiped out in just a matter of a few months, and we have lake levels that are in flood stage or getting into flood stage in some of those areas. In the western part of the state, especially in the Panhandle and the far southwest, we're still gripped with exceptional drought conditions, and so it's been feast and famine across Oklahoma.
So in those areas where the drought is not as severe now or has gone away, will that hold?
So that's a good question, and unfortunately our powers and our knowledge of how to predict on a seasonal and an interannual basis aren't as good as our forecasting abilities in the weather community on the next several days, but the predictive capabilities that we do have indicate that in the central and eastern part of the state, we probably will not see a drastic return to drought, whereas in the western part of the state, the conditions are still such that drought will likely remain.
May clearly was an extraordinary month. Data from the Mesonet suggests that the temperatures in the state in early May dropped by a degree. What does that mean?
So we in the climate community tend to look at things in terms of normals, 30-year normals, and so we average our temperatures across the state and in various parts of the state. And in comparison to most Mays, our temperatures were significantly lower than normal, lower than what we would expect. And I know you, as well as other people, remember last year and the year before, during May, it was very, very warm. And so those temperatures primarily were lower because we had so many storm systems that moved through, and the cloud cover and the rainfall that resulted from that.
We are used to severe storms. We're used to tornadoes. This is Tornado Alley. But we have now seen 2 F5, EF5 tornadoes in just a period of 2 or 3 weeks. And this seems to be an area where the most intense tornadoes are concentrated. Why is it happening?
So part of that is, the atmosphere is such that when we have these very large weather patterns, there tends to be these little waves that move along these large weather patterns. So we had what we call a trough, a dip in the jet stream over our location, and these little waves that would move through that, and so we would have multiple events. So within a couple-week period of time, when you have this large trough, it's not unlikely that you would have multiple events. But why some of these storms exactly hit in almost the same places, that's just a function of how the atmosphere happens to work, and so there's no particular specific answer to that.
Dr. Renee McPherson, thank you.
Thank you.